Hello, my name is Michael F. and I'm a licensed acupuncturist in New York and a candidate for the Doctorate of Acupuncture at the Pacific College of Health Sciences. I am reopening my office after the initial waves of the coronavirus in New York State, and I've noticed a new phenomenon that I'd like to share with my colleagues. The National Institute of Health says that usually for Americans, about 7% of us will experience PTSD at some point in our lives. But since we've been enduring a collective trauma known as the COVID-19 pandemic, where everyone was forced to self-isolate for weeks or months, and we have increased amounts of hygiene requirements, social distancing requirements, and new things that none of us have experienced in our lifetime, what I've noticed in the clinic is that people are presenting in a new way, and I'm kind of calling this post-pandemic stress disorder, PPSD instead of PTSD. Now, truth be told, we're still in the pandemic, so to call it post anything is a little bit presumptive and a little bit ahead of ourselves. But regardless, what we're seeing are the effects of the initial waves of the pandemic on the psycho-emotional and the psychophysical bodies of patients in the office. Now, PPSD, what I'm seeing is it presents very similar to generalized anxiety, but it's a little bit different. And before I talk about how it presents from a Chinese medicine perspective, I'd like to just share that for any patients who are demonstrating real signs of significant levels of anxiety, heart palpitations, or depression or mood changes, this is generally a lead for a conversation about talking to their PCP or a psychologist. I'm very comfortable and actually really love referring out and doing collaborative care because I find that it helps my patients the best. And so if someone needs to talk to a mental health professional, it's a really great time to make a referral so that they can talk to people who have experience in dealing with trauma and dealing with social anxiety. So from a Chinese medicine perspective, I see this manifesting in three particular places, and they all are grouped in the arm yin channels. So that's the Tai yin, the Xiao yin, and the Shui yin, or the lung, the heart, and the pericardium. And I see this in a very particular way. So the hands, from a Chinese medicine perspective, is the way that we take in and we do things in our world. So from a yin perspective, it's taking in, and from a yang perspective, it's reaching out. And lately, we can't reach out in the same ways and we can't take in the same ways, and that causes disorder and disharmony in those channels. And so I see it in the lung channel and the Tai yin channel, particularly in the way that the Chinese medicine view of the lung corresponding with the Wei Qi. So the Wei Qi is the idea that there's a boundary or there's an immune system or there's a defense system for the body, but more importantly, it's a relational system for the body. How do we have an appropriately permeable boundary that we let the right things in and keep the right things out? Now, lately, the boundary is called to be hypervigilant, and pretty much nothing is allowed in. No people are allowed in, no things are allowed in, everything is suspect. That causes a lot of tension in the Wei Qi, and it causes a lot of tension in the hand Tai yin. So I see it presenting in a tight pulse in the lung channel, and I see it presenting sometimes in a deficient or empty pulse because their Qi and blood is deficient or exhausted from keeping up these levels of Wei Qi defenses. And so very simple treatment strategies are harmonize the Qi and the Tai yin. You can use Shonishin, you can use Tuina, you can use acupuncture. If there's a relative deficiency, I'm using moxibustion, infrared therapy, and I find that these things recover pretty quickly and patients respond to them pretty well. So on the next channel, we'll talk about the Shui yin of the hand, the pericardium. Now the pericardium is called to be the heart protector. It's really what lets things in and out of the heart, which is our deepest and most precious sense of self and the safest place where we need to be. Now the pericardium is the mitigator between what from the outside enters the heart and how the heart presents itself into the world from a biopsychosocial perspective, which is really what modern holistic healthcare is, biopsychosocial spiritual. So how does the heart come into the world and how do you let things into the heart? This is the function of the pericardium, and because the world is a different place than it was a few months ago, this system is out of balance. And again, it presents with a particular quality, it presents with an irregular quality and a hesitant quality and sometimes a vibration quality in the heart. And in particular, from a Shen-Hammer pulse perspective, in the pericardium pulse position, there sometimes is a vibration or just an active pericardium pulse. And again, this is treated very commonly with acupuncture, Tuina, moxibustion, and allowing the Qi in that channel to settle. The third is in the Xiao yin, is in the heart itself, him or herself. This is the idea of the question, who am I? And how do I relate to my world? What am I doing in this life? A lot of people are experiencing a lot of questioning about who they are and how they function in the world, and also experiencing deep loss or deep scared feelings about the health and safety of the people that they love, and this rattles the heart itself. And very commonly, this is presenting with a vibration quality in the heart pulse, an irregular quality in the heart pulse, a hesitant quality, and sometimes a relative deficiency. And again, it's treated with moxibustion, Tui Na, and acupuncture to soothe the qi of the Shaoyin. I find that harmonizing the leg and the arm channels together is a really nice way to have a more balanced treatment. I find that Tui Na, medical massage, and acupuncture pair really nicely for this. And I find that giving people the time and space to discuss their feelings in a safe way is a really transformational part of the process as well. And what I'm seeing as patients come in and out and come back is it's really just about getting through that first or second or third wave of greeting society, of letting people in and letting themselves out again. How do you find healthy boundaries? How do you follow healthy guidelines? How do you live in a way that's safe but meaningful and purposeful? This is the role of the self, and how do we balance that for people is the work of acupuncturists. And so I want to thank you for taking the time to think about this. If you see it in your patients and you want to comment or contact me, my information is below. I'd love to hear some ideas. If anyone's looking for particularly quality teachers on the matter, there are a lot of acupuncturists blogging about this, but a great book resource would be Heart Shock by Ross Rosen, a really brilliant acupuncturist and pulse diagnostician out of the Shen Hammer lineage. Has a lot to say about trauma and heart shock, and I recommend that people check that out as well. Again, PPSD is not a real disorder. It's something that I'm calling a collection of signs and symptoms that I'm seeing, and recognizing it as a part of this biopsychosocial, spiritual disharmony that people are experiencing as a result of the coronavirus. And so the best thing that we can do is keep our heart centered and our heart spacious and our clinic safe, and give our best work for our patients and our community. So I wish you well, and I am here with you, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and all the best.